I Oh, you're muted.
Hello, welcome. I am Riley Niemock. I am MARN's Gallery Director.
Hi, I'm Adam White. I'm MARN's Creative Content Manager, and I'm here to learn more about the request for exhibition proposals from Riley.
Yeah, we're lovely to have you here. Thank you, Adam, for having this. We are in the MARN Art and Culture Hub, as you can see here. Adam and I are in the gallery space together. You can see my little wave here. There's Adam, and my pronouns are she, her.
Pronouns he, him, they, them.
Yep. And we just thought it was a great opportunity to talk today about the request for exhibition proposals that got released about a week or so ago. The deadline currently is March 16th, and we know there's lots of questions on how to submit, maybe just some specifics people want to go over. So I'll be presenting through our Zoom live stream today, and Adam will be asking questions.
All the questions.
And if anybody has any questions following this discussion between Adam and I, you feel free to email me at Riley, R-I-L-E-Y, at marnarts.org or admin@marnarts.org, and we'll get those questions answered for you right away. Great.
Thanks, Riley.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll just share my screen with the request for exhibition proposals document, and we'll just walk through that together.
And then this document that you are about to open, I can access that via marnarts.org. Let's see. It's under the Art and Culture Hub Opportunity for Artists. Is that right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'll show you a couple different options. This is the prettiest document here.
That is really pretty. Look at that.
I do hear a little echo, Adam. Would you mind? Thank you. And feel free to chime in though when you're ready. So this document is our PDF. Anybody that is a MARN member should have received this through our membership works email, or feel free to email me if you want this. Like Adam said, it's also available on our online websites as well. Biggest thing to pay attention to is that it is currently due March 16th at 11:59 p.m. I'll talk about this later, but do pay attention to that time frame. If you go just a minute over, sometimes it won't submit. Awesome. Do you have a question, Adam?
No, I was just going to say the 16th is a Wednesday, so plan your week accordingly, perhaps.
Oh, yes.
Middle of the week.
Good insight there. Then the only other thing I want to point out really within this is what we're really looking for here. I am open to full exhibition proposals of any kind, really, but I do have a mission to really push the boundaries of what a traditional exhibition space can look like. Luckily here at MARN, our walls and our whole space is very transitory, and we have tons of monitors. We have the ability to project. We are open to really pushing what you're used to seeing in a space. So if you want to do something that's alternative and not just what we're all used to seeing in exhibition place, don't be hesitant to share that.
And the walls move too, don't they? So like if you wanted to do like, I don't know, some giant installation, like we could push them all out or something. Would you be open to that?
Definitely.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. Okay. Maybe some performance.
Definitely. I've opened to art forms of all kinds, performance, music, even live making interactive pieces. Really, I'm open to exploring anything that's thrown at me. As an interdisciplinary artist myself, I am open to being a soundboard on that too. Once someone is selected, if you have a few questions on how to do things more practically within our space, since it is very public facing, we can sit down and have that conversation.
Okay, so what if I've like never done this before? Like I have this idea for an experimental exhibition. What's the best way to describe this new idea I have?
Good question. The best way to do it is to really describe the physical elements of it. So that would be like allow me, when you're writing your proposal or with your work samples to submit, give me enough information that I could potentially envision myself in this space. So say, how would people walking through actually explore your work? So if your work is like a little bit more of an installation piece, are you picturing people being able to walk around it? Do you want things to be closed off? Really kind of more of how you want people to experience it. If you want to go ahead and propose like really how you want the walls to be, that would be lovely, but I don't really require that because it really will at the end of the day be really collaborative between me and whoever is selected, since I'm more familiar with the walls and there are some restrictions that we have here just to make this space be able to transition into different elements that we have. But yes, just give me your full vision in like very solid grounds. Like give me what you do know, like, oh, I want to work with this material. My work, I'm thinking, will be this big. I want lights to be off. I want lights to be on. I want the viewers to do X, Y, Z. I want signage. I don't want signage. These are the artists that I want to collaborate with. Give me what you do know and the practical parts. And if there's some hesitant areas, you can acknowledge that those will be something that you and I might have to focus more on together.
Okay, can I try an example?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I want to have an installation in the middle of the gallery so people can walk around it, and they'll be on the floor, and I want them all to be on. I have like this like channel mixer so they can all play the same video, and then I want the lights off, but I don't really know how I'd power all that. Is that something we could collaborate on, like figuring out how to plug them all in?
Yes. So walking that back a little bit, floor can be done. We'll just probably have to walk through like if there's any maintenance that needs to be done, if there's anything that like, oh, if someone gets close to it. So fragile things on the floor, we might have to talk about a plinth or just like making sure that there's somewhat of a barrier so people don't step on things. And then you said lights off. Our lights do have the ability to have a lot of altering ability. We can really like dim. We can also turn off certain tracks. While there's like a tons of things that we can do, there's also obviously limitations that we have to have enough light that people can walk through and not step on things. We are a public space and the gallery does kind of have a hallway where people will walk to go to the restroom. So you do have to have public interactions. I had someone recently propose something where like you basically have a line to enter the space. Unfortunately, we're just not the gallery for that. Though I'm really open to exploring what that could look like with the ability of people walking through the space. The third question you had was in terms of electricity and outlets. We have tons of outlets within the space. We'd probably have to navigate how the cords would be taped down or if they're found a way that they're not trip hazard, but we have a lot. And actually, let me really quickly, Adam, before you ask your follow-up question, scroll down to the bottom here. And if anybody needs this in general outside of this PDF, I can give this to them. This is a floor plan of the gallery. I give you a little bit too much information here, but it kind of gives you a flow of what our space is. I do have all of our outlets marked in purple, which is right here. So we have an outlet here. Here, here. There's even one over here, here, and even here. So we have quite a bit to deal with. So if anybody wants to do anything media related, we got tons of it.
Cool, thanks, Riley. That answers my question.
Awesome. Well, let me go back up, excuse my scrolling for a moment, and just quickly touch base on some specifics. So the exhibition will run April 16th through June 5th. I know that's fast. So those who have work that's pretty ready or will be ready to be installed within a little bit of time is what I recommend. Apologize for those who have more long-standing visions, and we can potentially touch base on that in another RFP in the future.
Okay, so quick question. With the April date, so are you looking for me to make like brand new work never been seen before for that April date, or I can propose something that's like in my studio right now that I've been like sitting on and want to show?
Yeah, we can definitely, it can be a combination. So we do have a line in here. That we do prefer work. One, it would be nice to show work that's not something that a lot of people in Milwaukee have seen, just because, our community is just so big and we want to see new and exciting things. But I understand that a full exhibition can have work that's already made. If you have new works to be made, those work samples can show maybe some sketches, but it does need to be somewhat like you can achieve it within the timeline. But it can be work, like you said, that's already made, sitting there ready to go up. I know we had a couple years of COVID times where a lot of us weren't able to exhibit work. So that's totally okay with me. You don't even have to have all of it be new work. Great. We are asking for a little bit of a potential exhibition programming. What that means is an event of some kind outside of just having the work up on the walls. That could be performance art, like we've already mentioned. It could be live music. It could be a fashion show. It could be live art making. It could be a workshop, panel discussions, artist talks. Those are just a few examples. I'm really open to exploring that further. So really let your mind go. Our space is really great for events. And I just want to point out, just in terms of dates, to look at the drop off and install.
Riley, so you gonna, like let's say I never installed a show before, but like I got all the work. Like, are you gonna help me out? Can you help me out with that?
Yes. Not only will I be around for all things that go on to make this exhibition happen, so MARN will still operate as a traditional gallery in terms of putting this together. So we'll do the regular production like work labels, lighting. I'll have nails and screws and hammers and all that stuff that traditionally goes into putting up an exhibition. So yes, looking at this budget outline and some of the things we request, just think about this being above and beyond just dropping off work and then hanging it. Or if you have some special people that you want to help install your work, say you're doing a special, like you said, installation piece that's large, and you have a gallery assistant or something that you want to pay to help you out, that can be within your budget. But just do acknowledge that right now MARN is set up that I am the only person really here to assist regularly with exhibitions. So if you do have friends and family and other artists, I do ask at least one person assist in the curation and install.
Okay, so that budget is exciting. I know you've helped other artists install shows and participate with other galleries. Historically, what else have you seen an exhibition budget go towards in addition to labor?
Yeah, definitely. Transportation costs. So say again, you have a really large piece and you have to get a U-Haul, that can definitely go towards that. Say you wanted to do an expedited shipping. I don't recommend it for this exhibition, but that would be an option if that was something that was practical for you. When you look at the exhibition programming or just inviting artists to be a part of an exhibition, say it's a group or multiple, you can have artist fees or honorariums within that. Special install materials, like you were talking about with media equipment, if you need to rent some equipment for a period of time. That's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm sure it could be used in so many different other ways, but it really should go towards this happening for you. So when you do that budget, look at it in terms of how to go above and beyond to make this exhibition happen in a way that feels ethical for you and whoever you're working with.
So don't spend it on like vacation money for after the show. No, okay.
Not for
No,
this one.
okay, that's fair.
Yeah, because this is more of a budget for making the exhibition happening. We are asking it to go to the exhibition. I think in the future it'd be lovely to have more of like a stipend or more of a situation where we're able to do a grant and you're able to use those funds outside of that. We'll have other programs that are more focused on that, but for this one, very exhibition, what's going on here, pushing that.
Yeah, I feel like I would use that to get like some really nice like prints, like as a photographer, or like maybe frame my work. Is that appropriate for the show? Like
Definitely.
Okay, cool. I got some ideas. That's cool.
Yeah, definitely. That's what that can be used for, really pushing. Some people have work already done. Maybe it's a final piece you need to finish. I don't, it's really endless in terms of that. Definitely. I do want to just go back to like a second here, who would apply, it seems kind of silly to be talking about it now, but in case we kind of jumped a step and made some assumptions, you don't have to be a MARN member to apply to this opportunity. That is why we would love to have you part of our community. And I hope that working with us would show you what we can give to you. It isn't a qualification that or a must to do that. And all artists and curators or creatives is another word to use here, are open to submit here, all types of art, but we do have a limitation in terms of region, not only because of the quickness of the show, but just for our mission here at MARN, that the Southeast Wisconsin region. If you have any questions regarding this, just feel free to reach out to me. I see this region including Madison. That was a recent question. So if you are in Madison or close to Chicago, and within Wisconsin, that would still apply here. Awesome. Outside of that, we are just asking people to be really in the trenches with us here, ranging your delivery of your work, making sure that it's ready for install when it arrives. Also that it be delivered and retrieved on time, that it's professionally presented, and that you are here to maybe be here for the programming and the exhibition and promoting on your end as well. If you want to sell your work, MARN does allow that. It's not a must, but we do take a 30% commission on any sales. So just take that in consideration. We also have an online marketplace for that. And we do insure the work. So I know that does come up as well. So we'll ask for works, even if they're not for sale, for the insurance value so that we can make sure that it falls within our helmet here. There is no submission fee as well. Great. Outside of that, just looking at projects that look at socially engaged elements, socially relevant content, community involved proposals, innovative ideas, technology, responsive to the current environment are really encouraged. I get excited about projects that kind of push themselves to be within that. So if you are someone that's hesitant or wondering if it's the right fit for you, I think this would be the right time to apply for MARN here. And we do have 120 linear feet of 10-foot high walls. I'll just quickly show you that we have tons of walls here. As Adam also said, we are able to take them down as well. So there are a couple areas that we can't unfortunately do that with, but most of the gallery could be completely open or very closed off if we so choose. I'll just for a moment while I'm talking about that, scroll down to the bottom here to look at that floor plan one more time and point out those areas. We have this gallery storage area that has 10-foot high walls that is kind of a need, as well as this half wall here that's over by the coffee and wine bar. And then outside of that, we can fill this up with walls. We just have one area here that has the green projector that we really don't do much walls between this semi-wall to that back projector so that we can have events that involve presentations. And we do have pedestals available, shelving, and like I said, a projector, 3 monitors that are 50 inches. So there's a lot that can happen in this space. So let yourself dream a bit. Great. Outside of that, we can just talk about how to apply. Really, I'm just gonna at this point just hit about different things in terms of thinking about when you want to apply, and then we can go into the submission process itself. So late submissions are not accepted. I'm sorry. It just it is what it is. We have to be fair here. I do recommend a 15 minutes prior submitting or trying to, because we have had some people, their time or their clocks around their house are just slightly off, and we have an automated process where it just automatically cuts off at 11:59. I have to reopen it to make an allowance for that. And I don't have access to any drafts on our platform that we use. So even if you submitted late or tried to, I don't have any access to any of that didn't come through. So do try to prepare yourself with a little bit of buffer time if you are a late night worker. And We don't accept any proposals through email or in person. So even if you do email me something to look through, I can, in terms of just like giving you low level like recommendations on if it would fit with this, but I won't really, it doesn't really add to your proposal that will actually come through. And that will be reviewed by the curatorial advisory committee here at MARN and myself in Tangent. So I'm not the one that makes the decisions by myself in a silo anyway. So you really want to submit through this process for you to be reviewed in the regular channels. Great. So we do have an online form. This is found in a bunch of different ways, and I did quickly, I'm just going to stop sharing, and I want to show how you can find where to get this form a couple of different places. Awesome. Excuse everybody, one moment. I'll share again. So if you go on our Instagram, which shout out to Adam right now, our Instagram is looking really good. Check it out. And we are having a panel tomorrow too. So check that out. If you have any questions, I'll be available at that time. But we can go to our link tree here. And opportunities for artists will be where to find our RFP. If you click that, it'll take you to this page. You can see that we had 2 different opportunities open. The 7th annual grilled cheese grant is actually closed, so I'm going to make sure that will not be visible to you in a moment. But if you're not logged in, like I'm not, most people won't be, you'll be able to click guidelines. Again, this is what we just already looked through. So if you want to just get another version of this, this will be where it can be found. It has all the different guidelines and submission materials. Everything that you just saw in the other document is here as well. And you would want to scroll back up and click submit. Now the submit is going to ask you to sign in. This is not your MARN account. So if you are a MARN member and you have a membership account through our email, that is, or through our website, excuse me, that is not this. This is submittable. It's the platform that we use for submissions. So unfortunately, you do have to make your own account here. The plus is that a lot of different platforms or different organizations use this platform and they don't spam you or anything like that. So it's really just a way, like a Google, Google account that just allows you to apply. So sign in. I'm going to see that I'm using my fingerprint. Go in there. And now you'll get directly to here. So again, you're going to see all these guidelines. This is just so if you want to come back to anything, but the application form will be at the bottom. So just need to scroll all the way down to find that. Do you have any questions, Adam, before I continue?
I think I'm good so far. I like, yeah, I'm good so far. Thank you.
Awesome. Yep. And I did try to make that the copy or the language that's in the guidelines is very relevant to what this is. So it'll be pretty one-to-one for everybody. So even if you wanted to copy and paste all that information, fill it out on another sheet, which I recommend, kind of fine tune your language on a Google Doc or a Word doc or wherever works best for you, then you can basically copy and paste it into this document. It should be pretty close to the same. So name, if you are submitting as a collective, the name will be the point person.
Riley, I like to work on things slowly and take my time. So can I come back to this application and like work on it over a span of a couple days?
Yes, actually. So you'll be able to, I'm scrolling down, save draft.
Okay, and then like, what if my cat like turns off my Wi-Fi on accident? And I'm like in the middle of this application, does it save it?
Good question. I don't know if it automatically saves. I would imagine it should, but in case it doesn't, because we know how the tech world works, just when you're in hot and heavy and if you don't have this information outside of this document, I would definitely say save draft often. Or again, do a lot of this working outside of this online form and copy and paste in. That's honestly what I recommend, but yes, save your draft often. And Adam's cat's name is Pumpkin. Just a little shout out to Pumpkin.
You would totally do that too. So asking for myself.
Awesome. We do ask for pronouns, but you don't have to put them in. Just write NA if you don't feel like you want to. We do ask if you're a student. That just helps us get to know you better, but it doesn't affect the eligibility. We ask for a mailing address. That's the way we can get some funds in your pocket. phone, email, and then this is just preference in a second form of communication. If something urgent comes up that an email is a little slow for, I'll use that for contacting you, but it's really after you're selected. So don't worry about that too much. It just helps you in the long run. Website and Instagram handles, again, great for promotional purposes. If you don't have either, it's not required, but I would recommend you look into doing one of those so I can get to know you better in the future. Biography, that would be yours. If you're one artist submitting as a curator or just as a full exhibition, that's yours. If you're an organization or in a group, that would be kind of a brief about who you are, your history, what you're about. And then again, we do ask if you're a member, it just helps us understand you better, but it does not affect your eligibility. Great. The second portion here is work samples. Work samples are just like helping us understand what kind of art will be in this space. We do ask for 7. I know that's quite a bit, but it's a full exhibition. So we really need to see that you have the quantity to fill the space. And that can also include details or full exhibition or whatever you so choose. I just saw that I put in a meme in here at some point when I was testing this out. It's a little squirrel saying hooray.
That's a happy squirrel. That's funny. Oh my God.
I had no idea that was there. And then for each upload, you'll put in your title, medium, dimensions, work, year, and sale price. Again, sale price can say not for sale or NFS. And to me, these are to be determined. You can say that in here too.
Okay, so can we go back to those images?
Mhm.
You know, like, can I send like photos from my iPhone? Like, what would, you know, when the jurors are looking at these applications, like, what are they looking for in the images?
Yeah, definitely. Good question. We do have some guides here, submission specifics. It's also in the guidelines for you. We are looking for things that be at least 72 DPI, 1200 pixels wide. That allows us enough to see it fully without it being pixelated, so we don't feel like we're getting the full display of it. We are asking you for a limit of 5 megabytes so that sizing wise, we're able to see it. It doesn't take a long time to load. We do take video files, a minimum of 1080. They can be submitted as an entry, or they can also be linked within here. So you could do a still plus a link within the description as well. So if you upload your videos to Vimeo or YouTube.
Is there, I'm curious because I've run into this. If my file size exceeds that 5 megabytes, will it just reject it? Will it pop up an error? Have you ever run into that on Submittable?
Unsubmittable, we do not have a cutoff.
Oh, okay. Wow,
Yeah.
that's generous. Okay, cool.
So while I almost wish it was, because it'd make it harder for you all to submit a really big file on accident, but we do just want that 5 megabytes. I'll be able to tell when I can't. I have to download the file to view it. So it just makes it harder to jury and select. But yes, if you're 5.1, it won't immediately cut you off. And that is will lax a little bit. Just don't try to stay around that 5 megabyte area so that we can actually view it. I do think your question included like what kind of images I'm looking for here. So display your work the best way possible. So clean background is a great idea. Great lighting on a work, whatever that looks like for you. Make sure I can actually see your piece. I'm not getting distracted by anything in the background, that there's not, tools in the way. It's not maybe on an easel. If it can be installed temporarily on a wall, if it's 2D work, I recommend that with some nice lighting. Crop it in. So I actually recommend for myself, and not everybody does this, it's okay if you don't. I leave a little bit of background if I have a clean white background or a clean background behind my images. I leave that so I can actually see what the resolve or the edges of your piece look like. So I know if you've cropped it in, maybe there's some like decaling on the paper. I can actually get to see that way. So show the physicalness of your work as well. If you have any work for progress or in progress, same applies. Show me it in a clean way that I can really experience it and not getting distracted by something else. If you're using an iPhone, that's totally fine. Just follow the same rules. Make it professional, make it look nice, and pull it into editing for a moment, crop it, rotate if it needs to, and then crop it, check that aspect ratio. Just do a little bit of finessing so that we're not thinking so much about it being a photo. We're just looking at your work.
Okay, so you said the work in progress. So I could take a picture of that. And what would be some helpful language to describe, what you're looking at now and then the finished results? Like how would I describe that to the committee? And what would not be helpful? Like what would be too like, yeah, I don't need that. That's too much information.
Yeah, the work should be far enough along, or whatever you submit as your sample should be far enough along in terms of planning that I feel like it can be achieved one. So that's one thing is for this one, so quick, think about realistically, can you achieve this? And can you present it to me in a way that I can actually understand what you're showing me? So if it's a painting that has like a sketch of what it is, and then the other 6 of your work samples show me your style, that makes sense. You can say it's in the same style as the other works presented here. I'll be using the same color palette. That could be an example, or describing like it's going to be realistic or it's going to be really abstract. And that's, my other samples. So if the work in progress basically should be in addition to other samples that have finished ability to it that can support it. So if your whole submission is work in progress, I'm not going to really understand what you're doing here.
So maybe like I have like 5 finished wall sculptures and one you see on a table, and it's like this one will also be hung like the other examples.
Yes.
That's what you're looking for. Okay, that makes sense.
Definitely. Yeah. A little bit more practical. Tell me how it's going to be installed. Like you said, like, is it going to be installed a certain special way? Especially if it's sculpture, that's really important here. And how will it look when it's finished? Maybe you don't know for sure, but you at least know it's going to be an oil painting. It's going to be within the same vision as the other works or completely different. It's going to use XYZ materials. So that can all, like, you'll give title, medium, work dimensions, a year, and sale price will give me a little bit of a limit into that, but we do allow this work description for each one. And that's where I'll let you like pour it out. Don't tell me about concept so much. If it's a new piece, do tell me concept, but don't go so heavy on that. I need to understand if it's a work in progress, what it's actually going to be more here rather than the concept of it. Concept is important, but we can also get into that in terms of your actual exhibition proposal, if that comes into play. Great. So that work description, that can be where you put your video links. That could be your special install needs. Like I want to hang from the ceiling. Right now, we don't have anywhere in MARN that can be hung from a ceiling, but I'm open to exploring that if that's something you'd like to do. Additional notes, say, maybe something is weird to upload, like my dimensions are this, but they might end up being this, because it's an installation. You can do that in your work description. Really utilize that to tell me anything you think I really need to know that I can't get out of just the title, dimensions, year, sale price, etc. Great. And it's limited to 100 words, just a FYI for everybody. That should be plenty. It doesn't need to be an essay because I don't even have enough time to read that. So you have 7 different ones for this. Same thing applies. You do this, you submit the details that go along with it. And then you're on to the written proposal. This includes an exhibition proposal and an event proposal, 2 separate entries. The exhibition proposal can be 500 words, so can be quite lengthy. I don't use that up if you don't need to. It's not a required 500 words. It's a limit so that nobody just gives us too much information, just enough that we can digest and really understand what you're trying to present. And the event proposal is 150 words. So we're looking at, who are the artists so maybe you submitted 7, but really you have 20 different artists. That would be a time for us to tell it that. Give us links to who they are, their portfolio, their website. Maybe you have the exhibition title set. What's it about? Is there a concept? Is there a theme? See, now we're going back to that theme I brought up earlier. This is your time to tell us what the overarching exhibition is, not the singular pieces, but is it about material? Is it about some socially relevant content? Is it about fashion? Is it about, yourself? Is it a solo show about your practice and what your practice is about?
So is it kind of like also like takeaways that I want the audience to have, or like maybe like how I want them to view it? Is that where I'd put that conceptually?
Yeah. That's the vision, I guess we were talking about earlier, like sharing you what the entire vision for the exhibition will be. You've given me little glimpses to what it might be. Maybe that is a mock-up that you submitted a picture of that can be within your work samples. But this is your time to show me these artworks are going to go these walls and artists are going to interact with them X, Y, Z. Or I'm going to have a sculpture in the middle of the area with lighting. That's the time for this, describing the installation process, adaptation of the space, how you're going to maybe use the walls if it's out of norm, maybe you're going to use the LED screens. Here's a floor plan for you to look at. So yes, this is your time to show me what you really want to do.
Okay.
Great. And I apologize for the generalization the way I'm speaking, but it's hard for me to know without everybody talking to me individually. And I think actually really specific questions are helpful, but out of that, like really it's your thing. So any question you ask me, I'm going to come back to you and say, just present it in the best way possible. So have somebody else proofread it, walk someone else through what you're proposing and see if they understand what you mean. Because if they do, then you know that you're communicating in an effective way. Then we have the programming event proposal. We talked about a couple different options, but what we're looking for here is like, what is it? Maybe you're looking for a specific day within the duration of the exhibition that would work for you. That's great. Also, is it open to the public? Do you want ticketed entry? Do you want RSVP? Is it a limited amount of people that can join? Give us that full display, even if you have a specific person that you want to have do it. So say you want panelists, say you want to have one of the artists do a workshop, give us all the information you can in a snapshot for us to understand what we would have to employ to make that happen.
So if I wanted to do a workshop and I need like a big table, could I use that conference center?
Yeah, that's a great space for a workshop. Thanks, Adam. It's huge. We've actually done quite a few workshops in there. And right now we sit around 10 people is a pretty good amount for that space. But if you're open to exploring more people coming in, we can do that as well.
And if I have a workshop and my friends come, can they get like coffee and stuff from Interval too? Like, will that be open during all this?
Yeah, most likely. Obviously, we have to work with anything with Interval to guarantee their staffing, but that is our goal here, that people can come in, they enjoy a great beverage from our operator of our coffee and wine, enjoy some great art. I guess we're going a little bit on tangent here, but one of my favorite places of this, not me, I'm going on it. One of my favorite parts about this place again is that public facing, like people wander through on accident sometimes just because we are in the third ward in a walking area where people just kind of explore. So if you want to add that into your proposals, like thinking about the fact that like children might just wander through and explore it, as well as your grandmother, grandfather, elderly, more of the older age group, young age group, it's a really diverse audience that comes into space, especially because we do events in addition to our exhibitions here. So when you think about your work being accessible, do consider that this is a very accessible space and you can get some really great beverages and food alongside of it. Awesome. And then sorry, tangent again, or pull back to the event proposal here. We do have AV equipment. So if you do want a singer-songwriter or you want to do a performance with video, we have a bunch of different potentials for that. So you can talk about that, but just keep in mind that we have a mixer, we have microphones, we have speakers. So if you don't need to have those so heavy within your budget here that I'm going to touch on, because we do have the bare minimum. Now, if you want to go above and beyond that, we don't have everything, we don't have the kitchen sink. We have just the little bits that we've used for artist talks and panels. We do have a projector though. within the exhibition space if that comes into play. Outline budget. Yep, we've already kind of talked about that, but exhibition production, that would be, like we talked about, just having the work framed and ready for presenting. Maybe that's printing, maybe that's some materials that you need to get in order to make the work. Transportation costs, again, if you need to do any a special amount of that, materials and supplies already talked about. And honorariums and artist fees. Exhibition production can also include vinyl prints or vinyl cuts. We don't have a cutter here, but there's tons of places you can outsource for. So that could include signage. It can include the way that you want to present the didactic. If you want to paint a certain area, open to all of that. Great. And then at the last part here, we're just letting you know that if we select you, we're hoping and you're understanding that that would mean their commitment to this timeline. So please take that into consideration before proposing. It really stinks when we select somebody and they just didn't quite look at the dates correctly. So do check your dates, check that this is practical for you, that you can do it, so that we can all work together and not get too excited too fast. And we do ask that people cover their nose and mouth with a mask while they're in here. Our COVID regulations will be updated and you can always look back to those. But right now we are asking people to be comfortable with that. Adam, do you have any final questions?
I feel like I can find this all on the website. Show concept, the space, I can use the tag. I like that you mentioned like the foot traffic that comes here. Yeah, like people from out of town and stuff, like that's super cool. Can I there's the opening reception. Can I come hang out once the show's up? What does that look like once what do I have to look forward to for the lifespan of the exhibition, would you say?
Yeah, we are open 7 days a week right now with intervals hours. Our MARN staff hours are Monday through Friday, more traditionally, with Whitney, our marketplace manager, being here sometimes on the weekends. But yeah, you are open to come in 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on a daily basis with your friends, family. Just join and experience, take photos, tag us on Instagram, do your stories, document. If there's anything specifically you want from any of the MARN staff, like you want to touch base with us or anything, just let us know and we'll try to look at our schedules and plan something, just so we're not in a meeting or anything when you're here. But outside of that, yeah, this is a public space. This is a community space. This is a place for you to enjoy what you've done.
All right, what about I've never submitted an exhibition proposal before. What are what's words of encouragement or words, just some advice of how to just start drafting this? Where would you start?
Yeah, good question. First and foremost, I would just picture the type of work that you want in the space. And then I think the rest will flow. So say there's another artist that you've been really wanting to exhibit your work with. I know Adam and I have at one time been thinking about collaborating on some performance art pieces. Or performance video. So think about a couple people or yourself, this is some work I really want to exhibit. Start there, start organizing in your head how you really want that to be exhibited. Is it on the walls, on the floor, etc.? So go down to the practical. Once you get that kind of going, this is how I would approach it. It may be a title will already be coming, but a title and concept I think will flow out of that. That's how I would follow. Now, you could do the other way though. Potentially you have a concept that you want to do. I really want to work, make an exhibition about environmental issues. That's great too. So maybe you're an artist already works with that, or a bunch of artists, or you're finding artists that work in that. Find them. So now you have the exhibition description and the title first, and now you're finding the artist to fill that. Just make sure that you have enough work to fill our space. Use that floor plan wisely so that it's not sparse, because it is a full exhibition. But outside of that, that's where I would start going. If you're new to it, just know that it's better to submit something that you're a little unsure of than not to submit at all. Nobody's going to use a proposal against you. It's kind of like submitting an assignment. Like it's better to submit than not to submit. And even if this is words of encouragement, is like, even if you aren't selected, which is okay, you can always use it, improve it, and submit again to us or to somebody else. Or there's tons of opportunities that just went out this year. So now you basically have a full package that you just put together that you can use here, outside, again, make it new, whatever you want to do with it. So now you've just done it already, and now you just can keep growing with it.
I love that. Thanks, Riley.
Yeah. We're here as resources. So if you have specific questions, I do say specific because it's always going to depend on what you're trying to communicate or say with us here. Reach out, let us know.
Yeah, I'd say Riley's here for the exhibition. If you have tech questions, again, my name is Adam, and I'm here Monday through Friday as well. So if you have questions about the monitors and all that, I'm here for that. Yeah. Sound good?
Sound good? Love that.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Talk soon.